All this talk of like wings and sports ball, going on adventures. Summer is here, right? Eating spicy wings, and you're like, but it's really warm out. I was mowing the lawn earlier today, and of course, it rained very hard and very briefly during the time that I wanted to mow. And I have an electric mower, so I'm like, nah, I'm not even gonna bother. If I had a gas one, I don't. I probably just would have sucked it up and finished everything, even if it made like a wet mulchy mess because of just the water in the grass. But nope, I went out and rewarded myself for a job mostly well done with some hot wings. All right, here is our random character guide. Let's get it going, right? We need to determine percentiles for male, female, or multiclassed. And we're going to go female. A female what? Roll a 7. We have a half-elf. A half-elf who favors her evens, her elven side. Now, high elf, wood elf, drow, I don't know. We could be sassy with it. And does the favor mean culturally, religiously, linguistically, or more genetically? Does she look more like a 3/4 elf than more of a human? Does she have slightly longer, more pointed ears? Are her eyes the color or shape more like elves or humans? So favor in this case, and this is something optional. The PHB doesn't really talk about this, but I like including it because it's a little bit more fodder for our imaginations. So if we know she favors her elven side, we can make better determinations, even if it's a tiebreaker, on her personality or how she looks. If this character compels any of you to, imagine her or to want to draw her or write about her, well, now you can give her a little bit of a lean. Next up, her alignment is determined with 2 percentiles. 34 and 77, she is a chaotic good half-elf. We don't need to worry about all this evil stuff here. Who is level... Let's see, we rolled a 58. That is on the verge of 13. Level 13. That means she's going to get 3 stat bumps. 1 at 4, 1 at 8, 1 at 12. And of those, you can take a feat optionally if your DM allows. Let's roll on a percentile curve, on a standard distribution curve here, and find out how many of those ASIs, well, it's not too standard. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. How many of those ASIs, or ability score improvements, are going to be feats? None. All right, so she's going to get 3 stat bumps. When we made our wizard here, he went all 3 were feats, and we made a muscle wizard. Oh, man, I would want to play a character like that, honestly. He really kind of beats expectations. Background is a D13. Roll it. Background number 2. Oh, a charlatan. Okay, so a charlatan has a D6 con. Actually, is it more than that? One of these things that we made earlier still had an error in it. Was it charlatan or was it something else? Charlatan, no, Charlatan does have D6s. All right, I'm going to roll a D6. Number 3. Actually, I could just write it because I already forwarded to the page here. I'd normally say, well, I don't know what number 3 is because I don't. It's a placeholder, but let's take a look. The scam is I insinuate myself into people's lives to prey on their weakness and secure their fortunes. Ooh, so she's kind of a gold digger? We're still going to put number 3 here. So that's her con. All right. Well, let's continue on. She is going to earn also personality traits here, 2d8, 2 and 1, and then we're going to roll 3d6, 2, 6, 4 for her ideal, her bond, and her flaw. Now we come to the all-important question. What class is she going to be? Can we get through a week without having a bard? So in bubonics, in carrying on bubonics hopes and prayers while he's out. Tonight might be his family game night. He might be running D&D for his family. Let's roll this golden D12 and find out if it lands on 2. 11. Ooh, a Warlock. Okay, all right. So Warlocks have a Patron and a Pact, which is decided by a D3 each. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to make a 3-sided die, and we're going to roll 2 of them. You see what I'm doing up here? And now we're going to hit roll. 3 and 1. This means, as a Warlock, this is a Great Old One and a Pact of the Blade. So we have a GOO Blade Warlock. Next up, we are going to fill in some of her physical features. You know, how tall is she? How much does she weigh? How old is she? And this can also help us visualize more of her physical features. As after this, which is more of a concrete form, right? Whereas we're pulling this silhouette out of the ethereal mists of creation. Then we'll come back and we'll fill in her personality and her mentality. Being a half-elf here, this is our stat line. She starts at 4'9", and we're going to add 2d8 inches to her. 8 and 1 is 9, so we're going to add 9 inches, which is going to make her 4'18". There we go. Now we're going to take that same number and multiply it by 2d4 by 5. So we're adding 45 pounds to a base weight of 110. So she is 155 pounds. Now let's find out how old she is. Percentile. We rolled a 61. That is, she has just reached middle age. Column 4, right here. And now let's cross-reference half-elf. She is between 91... And, Dark Wolf, oh my gosh, the pictures that I will upload them during the break, Dark Wolf. I don't have one of the moon. In fact, maybe I could even go outside during the break and take one. But the sunset over the bay tonight was amazing. Oh my gosh. I will put that up on the Discord as well. And in fact, Dark Wolf, if you have snapped any shots, please share them as well. So we have a 35-sided die to generate. And we're going to roll this one time. Roll it. So we're adding 35. Okay. So she is 125 years old. And she is rocking it too. Very healthy. Go get 'em attitude. Maybe. I don't know. She's a con woman. Let's see. We can at least try and be positive about it, though. We are finished with the random number generation. So our Excel spreadsheet, which Bubonic One was kind enough to compile. Bye-bye. Ivalon, hello! Dark Wolf, you're trying to, though in the car, in the glass. Oh, yeah. Well, it'll be up for a while, won't it, Dark Wolf? Skill proficiencies as a Charlatan. Deception. No, there we go. And sleight of hand. We are going to have advantages in... tools, right here. In a These Guys kit. And a forgery kit. We will then receive some equipment. Fine clothes. A disguise kit. Tools of the con of your choice. So 10 stoppered bottles filled with colored liquid, a set of weighted dice, a deck of marked cards, a signet ring. So her con is I insinuate myself into people's lives to prey on their weakness and secure their fortunes. So maybe something like a makeup kit that has some perfume. I mean, we have a disguise kit, so it could just be perfumes and hair dyes. So instead of a wig or something. Perfumes and dies. And a belt pouch containing 15 gold. She needs a false identity as someone. Actually, because this is our second charlatan, right? Omar Ubsrek here is also a charlatan. And I haven't decided what false identity that he should have yet. But with this false identity, you get all the papers. You legitimately are someone else, you know? You have your own like ID, signet ring, or something along those lines, and you can pass yourself off as this alter ego. In fact, you know, while Charlatan does tend to run as a more of a criminal theme, if you want a false identity as maybe like a town superhero or something along those lines, I don't see why you couldn't be imaginative like that. You know, you're Saiyan Man or something along those lines. Oh, yeah. King did earn some points on an adventure. Jeez. King, she's getting sassy. You better watch out. All right, what do these personality traits mean? Let's take a look. Where's Tycho when you need him? 2. I have a joke for every occasion, especially occasions where humor is it's inappropriate. So she loves a good fart joke. And number 1, I fall in and out of love easily and am always pursuing someone. And she might go up to this guy at a bar or whatever and just, you know, try and put the moves on him, and it just comes out kind of awkward because it's like a really crass joke or something, and the guy's like, Ideals, number 2, fairness. I never target people who can't afford to lose a few coins. Bonds, number 6. I swindled and ruined a person who didn't deserve it. I seek to atone for my misdeeds, but might never be able to forgive myself. This is excellent story fodder for you as the PC, if this was your character, and for your DM. Good story stuff. And your flaws, number 4. I'm too greedy for my own good. I can't resist taking a risk if there's money involved. That probably is why she kind of runs around as this style of charlatan. You know, can she challenge herself to, you know, wed the aged, wed the old man McGillicuddy at the edge of town before he kicks the bucket, so she earns his inheritance. It's a great challenge. Can she put up with it, or something along those lines? Next up, being a half-elf means you get stuff. What kind of stuff? Well, first off, you get to be medium-sized. Yay! All right. You get to increase your charisma by 2. Yay! Especially because you're a warlock. We move at a run speed of 30, which gives us a 15 climb and 15 swim and a 0 fly. We do get 60 feet of dark vision. We do have Fey ancestry, which means that we cannot be magically put to sleep, and we have advantage on being charmed. We are going to get 2 skills. I'm just going to write this here. 2x skills from half-elf. And languages. We get Common, Elven, and something else. TUE-SAT. TUE can't see the moon from Den. King, just as planned. Good. Good. All right. Yay, we did a thing. We're going to do one more thing now, too, as we go into classes and we start putting some meat on the bones. You know what I'm saying? We got to put some meat on the bones. We are level 13, so we're going to be looking right up there. First off, we are a D8 hit die class, and conveniently we have 13 such hit die. What are hit die? Well, they help guide how many hit points you get every time you level up, and they represent an amount of intrinsic healing or resting that you can, like recharging your character, you can do naturally between battles, so you're not always reliant on magical healing. They're really in 3, so they're not considered to have like what is it, like, and what's the name of it? If you play a monster, you like your monster level starts you at I don't know, like 2, right? So you're a second level character by being a first level minotaur or whatever. And so when you can get enough EXP for level 3, you can then add level 1 rogue or whatever it is to it. Fiction, the skill called clone, can you cast it on myself? Let's take a look real quick. I don't think that's a clone is a skill so much as it is a spell. Sorry, I'm tripping over my own words here. So let's go to the spell portion and find out for ourselves, BX. All right, so here's clone. This is an 8th level necromancy spell, so you have to be very powerful to cast it. Level adjustment, that's what I was talking about, King. See, there you go, you're using the natural world around you to your advantage, King. Alright, so fiction, if we look here, it takes 1 hour to cast this spell. The range is touch. This has a verbal, somatic, and material component. In other words, verbal, you have to say magic words. Somatic, you have to do proper ritualistic, like finger wiggles and bodily, somatic components. And material components. So you have to, in this case, you have a diamond worth at least 1,000 gold and at least 1 cubic inch of flesh of the creature that you're going to clone, which the spell consumes, and a vessel worth at least 2,000 gold that has a sealable lid and is large enough to hold a medium creature, such as a huge urn, a coffin, a mud-filled cyst in the ground, or a crystal container filled with salt water. The spell grows an inert duplicate of a living creature as a safeguard against death. This clone forms inside a sealed vessel and grows to full size and maturity after 120 days. You can also choose to have the clone be a younger version of the same creature. It remains inert and endures indefinitely as long as its vessel remains undisturbed. At any time after the clone matures, if the original creature dies, its soul transfers to the clone, provided that the soul is free and willing to return. The clone is physically identical to the original and has the same personality, memories, and abilities, but none of the original's equipment. The original creature's physical remains, if they still exist, become inert and can't thereafter be restored to life, since the creature's soul is elsewhere. So yes, if you want to create a clone of yourself, you can do so, Fiction, if you have the money and the spellcaster available to do such a thing. All right, see you later, King. Thanks for popping in. Does that answer your question, Fiction? One second here. You're very welcome. Hey, you can come back anytime. In fact, Fiction, if I recall correctly, you stopped in the channel yesterday or the day before, and you were wondering about making a castle-style dungeon. That was you, wasn't it? You wanted to make like a castle dungeon? All right. I thought about it, and I was getting some things planned. If you can be here tomorrow for tomorrow's part 2, right? Part 1 is character creation. Part 2, I will go over making a castle-style dungeon. And maybe that's something that you can end up using for yourself, Fiction. Okay, we're going to get light armor proficiency with this character and proficiency with simple weapons. All right. Simple, no tools. Wisdom and charisma are the proficiency saves. Charisma and wisdom. Skills. Now we get to look at our skills. We're going to get to choose 2 from Arcana, Deception. Well, I think we already have Deception. History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. I would imagine investigation would let her help set up for a con of some kind. Oh, it didn't show up here yet, but thank you for the follow, Kabu, and welcome aboard. We're making a character right now, completely random. Though as we develop her and we fine tune her, you and others are welcome to offer your advice and, you know, what skills would she take based on her personality. You can ask questions about this character or about D&D. You know, are you a first-time player, or have you only been playing for a couple weeks? Have you been playing for 30 years and this is all like, yeah, I'm here because I want to hang out with nerds? However we can interact together as a community, hey, pull up a chair, you're sitting at a table in a game store, and let's be friends. So given her personality, joke for every occasion, and look, she's also the charlatan that sets people up to try and, you know, bilk them out of their money. I think investigation would be good. And maybe even intimidation. To kind of bully people into, to kind of bully or browbeat people into complying. And now, of course, we still have 2 skills floating from her being a half-elf. In fact, we can probably throw some of this in here. Probably good at insight in order to read people better, especially for her style of con. And history can work too, so she can try and pass herself off as, oh, you know, I am Duchess so-and-so of this family, or, oh, you don't know that this is the banner of great family, etc., and so forth. Now, if you have other suggestions out there, hey, lay them on me. You think about characters differently than I do. And this is a communal channel. She's not my character, she's our character. If you have a reason to think, no, she'd take Arcana for sure, let's speak up and throw it out there. What, you're not going to hurt my feelings. There's our skills. We are very skilled up now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We start with the following equipment in addition to the equipment granted by our background. Well, she is... Alright, so she is a Great Old One patron and a Blade Pact. We should decide if we want her to be a strength-based or dex-based character. I'm almost leaning towards making her dex-based. Given, she may want to present herself not as like a super swole, courtier. But I don't know. There's something alluring about a strength. And while intimidation is a charisma skill, having the strength to back it up could be important too. Darkwolf says, etc. so forth is the most noble of the noble families in the kingdom of somewhere else. I like that, Darkwolf. Clever girl. But then again, well, it's a blade, so she does get physical. I guess we could go strength with her. So we'll give her some kind of a simple weapon. Maybe we can give her a maybe we can give her a hand axe, right? A throwing axe. Wouldn't that be something? Oh shoot! What was that? What was that Mike Myers movie? Oh, So I Married an Axe Murderer. Oh my gosh. So we'll give her a hand axe. That would be fun, and she can use her strength with that as well. A component pouch or an arcane focus. Let's give her a focus. That is a trinket of some kind. Trinket number something. We'll roll it in when we get to the equipment section. Scholar's pack or a Dungeoneer's. I think she would rather be a scholar, especially because she runs cons and she needs to forge papers and such. Scholar's pack. She gets some leather armor, some sort of a bodice or a bustier, a simple weapon, and 2 daggers. So she'll get another simple weapon, maybe something like a javelin, and dagger X2. All right, we'll worry about the, we'll worry about the nitty gritty of spell casting in a little bit. I want to, that's like the last thing because it is dependent on your stats to a degree. And we don't have stats yet because we want to know who our character is first. Her stats at this point in time don't necessarily matter. Let's make her 3-dimensional. Let's give her reason and breathe life into her. Why does she make the decisions that she makes? Why is she good at the things she's good at? How does it all build together? Though we can fill in a couple things. For instance, at level 13, that is when our proficiency bonus goes to 5. And what else here? We're going to know 4 cantrips. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We are going to... Spell slots. We are going to have 3 at level 5. And that's it. Warlocks are weird. You do not. You get this floating amount because you get things called invocations that we'll put over here. Invocations let you slot magic abilities into yourself, or you make certain spells a part of you that you can cast more easily. So you're still a spellcaster as a warlock. You're not a traditional one by any means. So as we continue looking over here at 13th level, we are going to know 6 invocations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 6. I would also suggest actually, if we do it this way, level 1. Because some of your invocations are level dependent, if you label or otherwise indicate when you received the invocation that you did, it will help you out. So you get 2 at level 1. I'm sorry, you get 2 at level 2, technically. You get 1 more at 5, 7, 9, 12. 5, 7, 9, and 12. There we go. Pact of the Blade. You can use your action to create a pact weapon in your empty hand. You can choose the form that this melee weapon takes each time you create it. You are proficient with it while you wield it. This weapon counts as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. Your pact weapon disappears if it's more than 5 feet away from you for 1 minute or more. It also disappears if you use this feature again, if you dismiss the weapon, or if you die. So whatever weapon you want that you can conceive, you can make it in your hand, and you're proficient at wielding it. You would just have to worry whether it's a strength-based weapon or a dex-based weapon, or if you can switch them around because of special abilities. Wouldn't that be funny, actually, if we come up here and we do something like hand X times 2? That's her other simple weapon. And then she has her 2 daggers, and she's the battle axe, right? we often use this, like, oh, my wife's a real battle axe. Maybe she wields a great axe, she's like, oh, I'm battle axe, am I? I'll go bigger. And she just chases you down with this huge battle axe, like glowing with eldritch energy. ASIs 4, 8, and 12. We'll worry about that when we get to stats. And we will get a Mystic Arcanum at 11th level. So, as for a class, this is what we're getting here. Gain more Warlock spells at your choice, 7th level. Okay. Let's see now. This is the Archfey. We don't have that. We have the Great Old One. Here we go. Your patron is a mysterious entity whose nature is utterly foreign to the fabric of reality. So this is very, Cthulhu-esque, Great Old Ones, as the name implies. The eternal darkness kind of alien invaders or foreign minds of some way. It could even be someone who used to live in this realm but just has sort of phased out because he or she just got too powerful or smart for his or her own good, or just sort of like warps the fabric, or I don't know, it could be a denizen, like some sort of a creature living in the astral sea that's communicating with you telepathically. Have a lot of fun with your patron, really. You can do so much role-playing through the mechanics of the character that you get. For example, look, in our archetype here, which is our patron, you get an awakened mind. Starting at first level, your alien knowledge gives you the ability to touch the minds of other creatures. You can communicate telepathically with any creature you can see within 30 feet of you at level 1. Oh my gosh, that's really cool. You get an entropic ward. You learn to magically ward yourself against attack and to turn an enemy's failed strike into good luck for yourself. So you're warping, chance and fate. At 10th level, because we're level 13, we get a Thought Shield. Haha, try reading my mind. And we're just shy of being able to create a thrall of our own. You know, it's not enough that we're an agent on behalf of this great old one, but we can pass the savings on to you! Alright, now we can pick out her invocations. This is kind of like going shopping. If you're running a Warlock yourself, and you want to replace an invocation at some other level, you can go back and do so as you level up, right? So you take your first 2 at level 2. Well, at level 5, if you don't like one of your level 2s, you can replace it. And you can take your level 5 also. Kruger says the Cavs lost and Tristan Thompson threw the ball at Draymond Green's face. Well, so other than hearing the Cavs lost, and I bet that's got to be a heartbreaker for a lot of people. Didn't this come down to the line like it was like 3-3 and it's a best of 7, and this was it. This was the hill of beans. Is Tristan Thompson the captain of the other team, and so the other person's like, get lost, Buster, and threw a sports ball at him. Now, we have someone who's running a scam. A schemer. But someone who's intelligent, right? This great old one is touching her mind and empowering her to read thoughts of people who are... Bubonic one, Warlock. To read the thoughts of people around her. As her level 1 gift at that. So she's someone who can manipulate. She's someone who can intimidate. She's someone who can, really kind of get in there and get the job done. I almost want to say beast speech would be really good for her, right? You can speak with animals at will. She would be, come here, little birdie. I need you to go watch someone for me. Or, hey there, doggo, would you be willing to do me a favor? Beast speech might be a good one. Ooh, Eyes of the Runekeeper could be good too. You can read all writing. So she can read people's wills and legal documents. She can read people's hereditary lineages and their scrolls of a family tree and that kind of a thing. Those two might be very good ones. So she starts out here. Let's give her these. Let's give her Beast Speech. And let's give her Eyes of the Runekeeper. Now, as she's probably gotten into trouble by level 5 when we get our next invocation, I don't know if she's really gonna... She might not have the best armor, or dex even. If that's the case, then maybe something like Fiendish Vigor would be good for her. She can cast False Life on herself as a first level spell without expending a spell slot. So she can keep giving herself temp hit points. Just enough to get away, right? Kruger says, no, this is game 1 out of best of 7. Tristan is on the Cavs. He got ejected and threw the ball at a Warriors player's face. Junior Smith, Cavs player, ran away from the basket when it was tied up, thinking Cavs had the lead and caused the game to go into overtime, and then the Cavs lost. Oh, so drama on the sports ball field, or in this case, arena or basketball floor. Evening, Derek. Hmm. One with shadows would be really good to lurk around and get information on people. Whispers of the Grave could be good as well for the type of work that she enjoys. And what could we get at level 12? Oh, of course. Mask of Many Faces, for sure. For a character like this, she'd probably even take it. She'd probably take that one at level 7, honestly, as soon as she could. That's a really good one. Spillheart, hey, I'm a part of the new campaign at the shop. I heard you do a recap stream talking about the campaigns at the shop. When do you do those? Oh, all right. Um. Oh, so Spillheart, do you play on Wednesdays or are you in the Thursday sessions? Oh, all right. That seems the answer that you're on Wednesdays. So Spillheart, what you can do if you come over to our Discord here. In fact, let me put a link up. If you join us here and make sure that your Twitch handle is what you use over here. If it's different, we can change the nickname easily. What you can do is if you come down here to Dark Wolf's DM Diary, this is the what she does as a recap of what is happening on Wednesdays. Be careful, Spillheart, because if you come over here to the next one down called THZ Adventure Diary, this is what happens on Thursdays in the Curse of Strahd game. And if you don't want to spoil yourself on that story, make sure that you're sticking to Dark Wolf's and not to the Curse of Strahd one here. Okay. Also, Spillheart, feel free to participate in general chat. We have this one-word adventure that we're doing together. There's a lot of good activity that you can get involved with here. And if you have any questions about D&D, getting involved, oh, how do I make my character more compelling? Or, oh, I have this really great idea. How can I do it? Please ask. Even during a broadcast. This channel is about you all right over here, asking questions and involving yourselves. Romonger, hello. It's good to see you back. Speaking of playing D&D, have you been piloting Sten lately, or have you not had the chance and you're just working on that airship model? Yeah, Spillheart, hey, we're a big community, and just as you experienced at the store on Wednesday, you've pulled up a table, you're sitting at a table with a bunch of fellow role players, and whether you're new or old, or maybe you've played a ton of Dark Heresy and you haven't played D&D, none of that matters. You are among friends, and you're among people who have cumulative wisdom and are willing and able to share that wisdom with you. Oh shoot! Speaking of which, I know that King is away, but I need to fill these title requests. By the way, I am going to add this as at Dorgrim's suggestion, as he wanted to be an RP mentor title, but also Roll20 advice for people who can help others navigate around a virtual tabletop, or in this case specifically Roll20. I will make this title and I will add it. So if you want to step up and be a mentor in some way, not that you're obligated to help people or that, I'm going to be upset if you don't have an answer for everything. But if you feel comfortable talking to people about role playing, about art, if you're a sculptor and someone's like, hey, can I get some art advice? Well, give them sculpting advice. And if they do graphite and paper, well, maybe you can, turn them onto a resource that you heard along the lines because you're still artsy. There's also a writer's muse. So if you want to help people overcome writer's block, maybe share some techniques, you're willing to read people's work and give them feedback on it, you can ask for that title. And then I will add a Roll20, like a Roll20 mentor. So for those who can help create a virtual tabletop environment. So I'll add that a little bit later too as some housekeeping. Oh, he still doesn't want to play the Alien campaign, Kruger. Have you determined what is holding him up from doing this? Spicy Larry? Oh my gosh. Spicy, how are you, man? It is great to see you. Romonger, Sten and I are working on the ship. It's in the painting phase now. Oh, wait. Sculpting advice? Is that you calling me out? No, not specifically, but I guess that could work, Romonger, if you want to be considered an art mentor, quote unquote. You can put an application over in the title request area on the Discord. I forget. So you still get to keep Sten, right? Wasn't Sten originally your wife's character, but then she had to finish her programs, and then you stepped in, and this is when you learned D&D, if I recall correctly, and then you loved it so much, but did you have to give Sten up, or are you still playing Sten? I am no mentor. Have you seen the results of my advice? What do you mean, Derek? I think you give excellent advice. Zerby, hello! Good to see you back, Zerby. She made a new character. Gotcha. Okay. Spicy Larry, I am well, sir. Just been perusing Mordenkainen's. Oh, yeah. There's a bunch of fun stuff, isn't there, Spicy? Are you getting some very spicy ideas from it? Ro, my wife said Sten was damaged goods. She wanted a male dwarven tinkerer, not some steampunk, one-armed female tiefling inventor. It always ends in tears and broken internal organs. Oh, come on now, Derek. Look, you've given a lot of good advice on this channel, and you've stepped up, and you've offered mentoring. When you and Ivalon each stepped up in your own ways to be like co-host DMs, that was really fun, and you two brought a lot to the table in that regard. But look, Derek, if you don't want that title, I'm not doing this to to try and guilt trip you or Romonger or anyone. It's completely voluntary. Memory lapse. Memory, you better watch out, because I think King is sore at you that he lent you some EXP and you didn't go into the Underdark with it. Okay, alright, I wanted to make sure, man. Spicy Larry says it's great stuff, lots of inspiration. Yeah, they did a very good job at writing in a bunch of fluff, alternative rules, things to consider. Of course, there's the variant races if you want to play around with them too. Did anything in particular in that book stand out for you, Spicy Larry? Kruger says he just keeps saying he doesn't have the imagination over and over again. Well, so what you do is, instead of the direct solicitation, you should just ask him for some advice on something that's kind of related, but keep it distant from Alien or role-playing. I wonder why that didn't trigger, why that didn't go off. I hear cats afoot. No doubt they're getting into trouble because, well, honestly, that's why we keep them around. You don't keep cats around to have a steady life of quiet and ease. Oh, 570. Oh, you know what? The Underdark is 1,000. So I wonder if he miscounted or what happened with that memory. You'll want to talk to King when he comes back. Spillheart says, also, do you ever do house rules D&D at the shop? Yes. Actually, tonight was a particular case of that Spillheart. We did some custom stuff. We're still using the core books on Thursdays, as I imagine you're doing on Wednesdays. But some personal, situational stuff does come up. Kruger's watching Desperately Seeking Susan. Spicy Larry says the background on the Blood War and the new Fiends are your favorite. Oh yeah, you get all those really nice demon lords and everything, huh? Oh, that's right, Memory. You are going to be running your session. Oh, please share. Now, Memory, if you want to share here, you're welcome to. Or if you want to pop over to Tales from the Tabletop, you can also share here, and that would be that'd be great. Also, speaking of interesting moments, Rytel, who plays in the Wednesday game with Darkwolf, Rytel says because people should know about this exchange from her game last night. Rytel's character. How many times do we have to threaten your life before you stop giving us dodgy answers? She rolls a d20, ends up 17. Rytel says, times? And she replies, yes. That's great. All I know about our current quest is H.G. Wells is time jumping the group all over the place. Apparently, he is a Q-type antagonist. Ooh. I hope it goes well for you, Romonger. It sounds like your DM has a lot of great ideas and keeps things, thematic and fun. And that's getting into territory that I personally don't tread in. So I'm interested to know how your game plays out, Romonger. With that same sort of like trepidation or slight fear, like, it's like you watch NASCAR to, hopefully people don't die in fiery wrecks, but I mean, that's why a lot of people watch NASCAR. Not that I'm not trying to curse your game, man, but and we start getting into time travel and all this other stuff, I just start clenching up and go, time travel in a D&D campaign? But of course, this is me personally. Everyone out there loves different stuff, and so I'm not trying to poo-poo on alternate dimensions and parallel universes, extra dimensional spaces, and all the other stuff that, of course, I get on a soapbox about. Do I think a Doctor Who game could be cool because Doctor Who doesn't take itself seriously about time travel and alternate dimensions. So yeah, it's episodic, you could run fun games. You can have an overarching story to it as well, but in that instance, I'm not really worried about it. Oh, Memory says one of your players is still here for a while. Okay. All right, so we equipped our character with everything that she needs right now. Let's give her some stats, and then we can finish out her spells, and bada boom! Hey, we have a Char Actor. Memory Lab says they had a bit of a rough start, had a technical party wipe, but that was by design. They woke up in a tomb. T-O-M-B, tomb? I was watching the Gallagher English bit earlier today, and yeah, that was fun. Oh, you've been posting some more works in progress. Whoa, my gosh. Ship whip. Look at that. Now, so have you been... Is this just plastic card, or are these bits off of some of your 40K stuff? Or are you going into... Are you going into like some battleship models? What are you using for this stuff? Jeez, looking at this sort of stuff reminds me that I think Guns of Icarus, isn't that video game on sale right now? There's like a big Steam sale going on, and you can buy Guns of Icarus for like $5 or something. And everyone, in the theme of that game is you all hop on an airship, and you're different parts of the crew, and you just have like big battles over airships, and people are engineers to fix things, and gunners and pilots and everything. Some is 3D printed, some is plastic card and 40K bits. By the way, thank you for using the Z. Yeah, oh, and then you're kind of filling the seams with some green stuff too. That is really neat. Ah, there's an Aquila up there. Yeah, there you go, brother. There you go. What did I do to deserve a bunch of cool friends like you? Seriously. Wow. Big Joe, guess who's back? Well, that could be anyone, even a boat. A boat could have returned. Ship whips, the whips for your ships. Alright, so here's our standard array. 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. Let's distribute that, realizing that we were floating a +1 to anything else because of our half-elf heritage. So, I don't know, charisma is going to be big for her, especially because she's a con woman. Not just because it's also great for warlocks. Maybe we could go... Ooh, what if we made her dump stat con? And then we did something like... 14, 13, 12, whoops, and 10. Or rather, let's give the 13 in strength and the 12 in wisdom. Because she's going to need a somewhat decent battle stat up here for her weapons that she summons. We have a system similar for naval combat. I need a high con for drinking games. Oh, right. She's a con woman. Wah, wah, wah. Rowmonger there gets the pun in. Jeez. Now I ask, what did I do to deserve such puns? Which, honestly, I love puns and bad jokes and whatever, so you're good, brother. Now, as she has received 3 stat bumps, we can fiddle around here. If we go with these stats, it's going to give her a 17 charisma, and we can add 1 more into something here. Let's give her 1 more in her strength to bring her to 14. Hey, take it and take the bow, Rowmonger. Maybe we'll dump 1 into Dex. We'll put 1 into charisma. And we'll put 1 into... maybe 1 into strength. Or we bring her dex and strength up so that they're equal and she can be halfway decent with bows and arrows as well as melee weapons. I don't know. Being kind of in your face and being a literal browbeater or a battle axe in the in that tongue-in-cheek humor term is very interesting. So we'll make her pretty strong here. Ro, you're lurking due to painting? No problem, man. Thank you for sharing the journey of this work in progress with us as well. Puns are funs. They're puns of fun. Okay, you really need to finish painting. You're out of here. Oh yeah, you got to go into you got to get the dice roll. So if you're attacking normally, Joe, it's exclamation point 1d20. If it ever prompts you to roll for advantage or disadvantage, that's exclamation point 2d20. All right, so there's her stat bumps. Now let's look at her final results. Nice and easy, eh? Three, because it's based on the mod. 1, 1, and 1. But for the skill in which we have proficiency, this is going to become a 6 at sleight of hand, right? Because it's a 1 based on our dex mod. However, we have a +5 due to our proficiency. Constitution, I hope she doesn't get poisoned. That's why you have magic, or you buy items and other disposables. She gets 2s in her saving throw and Arcana, Nature, Religion, because that is her mod. Though we add 5 again for... There we go. For History and Investigation, giving her 7s. Now, for Wisdom and Charisma, the saving throws here have proficiency. This is going to give her a 6 Wisdom and a 9 Charisma for saving throws. As we go through Wisdom, 1, 1, 1, and 1. But for Insight, it's going to be 6. And for Charisma, 4 Performance, 4 Persuasion, and then 9 Deception and 9 Intimidation. Now, if you need me to go through any of that again, if you're newer, you're like, whoa, where did these numbers come from? I don't understand. Please let me know, and I'll go back and review it. Oh, Zerby. Oh, Zerby. What happened? Big Joe Reed rolled a 10. Plus 2 is 12. You just barely managed to avoid the poison dart. And Dark Wolf, can you give Big Joe Reed 250 experience points? Zerby asks, where did they come from? What do you mean in that regard? Where did what come from, Zerby? I'll continue on as you're asking here. We are wearing leather armor, which means that we start as an armor class 11 plus your dexterity bonus, or your dexterity modifier. So we're rocking a big old 12 armor class up here. Our passive perception is going to be 10 plus our perception modifier is 1. So that's going to give us an 11. Your passive perception reflects you don't have to roll. It's just how naturally aware your character is of the world around her or him. Hit points. At level 1, your character always gets your maximum amount of hit points from your hit die. Warlocks are a D8 hit die class, and so we're going to get 8. Now, for levels beyond 1, and so therefore there's 12 of them, right? We're a 13 level character. So we have 1 level at full, and then the other levels are going to be half plus 1. In other words, 4 plus 1 is 5. So we have 12 levels times 5 hit points. Then, every level, so all 13, you get bonus hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. In this case, that's -1. And so really, as we look at this algebra here, we are going to have a -13, and then we're going to have 60 here. So it's really going to be 68, right? We get the 8 from the first level, and so we subtract this, and she's going to be sitting on 55. So she's going to be a little bit of a glass cannon here. She'll hit hard, but you got to play her with some tactics. Play her... enjoy the thrill of a glass cannon character, because you want that thrill of battle. Take a character like this in and see how you can perform and go about things. Oh, thank you, Dark Wolf, for providing that and for giving Joe the EXP. Zerby, are you still around? What was your question? You asked where did they come from? What is it that you were looking for? Yeah, you can do some hit and run techniques, Big Joe. This goes away. She's no longer a set of numbers. She has earned a name. So for this half-elf character who favors her elven side, if something is coming to mind, then, hey, throw a name out there. Are you new? Is this your first night in the channel? You can throw a name out. Have you been lurking for months and months? Throw a name out. We all can participate in making this character. Let's see. Hand axes are going to be +8 to hit because those use strength. So you have your strength modifier of 3, and because we're proficient with the weapons, we add our proficiency bonus up here. Oh, Zerby does. Okay, no problem, Zerby. If it comes back to you, let me know. Spellcasting ability is Charisma. We are going to be... let's see. Our attack, we cast off Charisma for spells as a Warlock, and we're proficient, and so we get a +9 to try and zap people with our spells. The save DC, you add 8. You always add 8. So to resist the effects of our spells is a DC 17, that if you're the player and I'm the DM, my monsters have to get a 17 or better to avoid the effects of whatever spell you're using. But if you have to roll to hit my monsters, you're rolling a +9 with your attack. Let's see, we have 3 level 5 slots here, and then 0 in everything else, because Warlocks are weird casters. They do things a little bit differently. We're also going to get 4 cantrips, 1, a 2, a 3, Tootsie Pop. There we go. Let's go back up here. Here's our Warlock. Now, how do you get spells as a Warlock? Well, things open up to you. Zerby, you don't know how to call them. Can you give a description? Because we can go off of that too. Because look, we're very fortunate that we have people from all around who watch, and I know that you're from the all around portion. If you can describe things in certain ways, we can work together. Or if you just want to put, the thought out there in another form, then we can just try to translate it or do something along those lines. Oh, in abilities. Ability scores? Okay, so where did they come from? So, Zerby, there are 3 different ways that you can produce ability scores, unless you have a dungeon master who says differently. You can use what's called the standard array, and this is a 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. Okay? And then you can just drop these numbers into your abilities up here. You can use what's called a point buy system. A point buy system gives you 27 points that you can then use on a chart. Let's go back up here. It'll be a little bit difficult to see. Well, here, I can swap this around. So if we bring this over here, whoops. You can use a point buy. So if you want an 8 in something, it costs 0 of your budget. But if you want a 15, that costs 9 of your budget. And what this can do is, if you want to min-max your character, you can get 3 15s and 3 8s. Or if you want like a super in the middle character, you can take 3 13s and 3 12s. Or you can build something custom in between using this budget of 27 points. Or you can roll for your stats, in which case you take 4 d6s, right? 4d6. You roll them and you drop the lowest and then add the remaining 3, and that becomes your score. In fact, there's a command in here that King was messing around with last night, where if you do ! 4d6, it will simulate generating an ability score. In fact, it looks like King's at it again. The absolute madman. Ross! Zerby, does that help answer your question? All right, as a warlock, you can see that at level 1, we know 2 spells. There we go. We're just going to copy this. Now, as we go to level 2, we know 3 spells. Yet, we only have first level spell slots. So we come down here, and we'll change this to a 2. And now you can see that we got a spell at level 2. And you continue down the line here, adding spells. So now we have a... There's our 3 and our 4. Up here, here's our 5, and here's our 6. Seven and 8. Now, when we get to 9, you can see here that, yes, we learn 1 more spell. So congratulations, we can now cast 5th level spells. However, if you look here, when we get to level 10, we do not learn a new spell, right? We still have 10 spells known and 10 spells known. We don't get a further one until we hit level 11 and then level 13, and we're level 13. So we'll come down here. Here's our 11, and here's our 13. If you're playing a character like this at home, you don't have to always put the 2 in the levels here. If you want to put your level 8 back at your level 8 into a level 2 spell slot, you can do so. It's up to you in that regard. You can retrain your spells back and forth as you level up as well. Now, we can cast higher level magic as a warlock, and we'll get 1. We'll get 1 higher level spell per slot here, because we get something here called Mystic Arcanum, or Arcanum, or Arcanum, or however you want to pronounce it. Mystic Arcanum. You at 11th level, your patron bestows upon you a magical secret called an Arcanum. Choose 1 6th level spell from the Warlock spell list as this Arcanum. You can cast your spell once without expending a spell slot, so it's a freebie high-level spell. You must finish a long rest before you can do so again. At higher levels, you gain more Warlock spells for your choice that can be cast in this way. 1 7th level at 13, so we're going to get that. So if we come over here... Whoops. So this is at level 11. And then we have, we're going to get this at level 13. There we go. I hope that wasn't too confusing. And so if we come over here, we technically have, if you want to put like once per long rest, you can do that. And then really at this point, it's a matter of saying, well, what spells are thematic for our Warlock? Let's go to Chapter 11. Let's go to the spells selection, or the list, and pick out spells for her. Now, I'm going to get up and take a break in the meantime, though. We can always come back and do that, and we can talk spells. Keep in mind, though, that as a Warlock, you get expanded spells. There is something to note. While Paladins and Circle of the Land Druids and Clerics will give you domain spells, or spells that are specific and already prepared for your character, no matter what. The expanded spell list doesn't automatically give you these spells. It just means you can learn them as a Warlock in your natural progression of learning spells that you see here. South Elite, good morning. Cold pizza for breakfast. Ooh, cold pizza's good though. Which toppings do you have on it? Are you going with like a standard, like I don't know, like a sausage and mushroom, pepperoni? Are you going kind of? Are you going wild? Are you, dare I ask, eating a pineapple pizza? Because if you are, I like pineapple pizza. Zerby says a little bit. Zerby, if you need a further explanation of something, please ask. Just let me know how I can answer your questions, and I will do my best to do so. Onion, salami, and bacon, and cheese. Oh, dude, I hope you have enough for everyone. It's a good thing I'm going to get up and get a snack, though, so I won't ask for a piece. All right, so here's our character, number 4 of 5. And tomorrow will be the final one, and we're also going to sit down and make a castle-style dungeon. And how would that work? So I'm going to take a 10-minute break. I think I'm going to go get a snack for myself, and we'll come back, and we'll have a DM discussion about making decisions on the fly, especially if non-optimal choices occur. What do you do in that situation? So it'll be a DM advice. And even if you haven't DM'd before, this is a good chance to ask questions, or even to say, well, if I was DMing, I'd act in this way. Because you can participate in that too, even if you're brand new to D&D as a player, let alone as a DM. Ooh, bubonic. Spicy. All right, I'll be back soon, everyone.